Welcome to this course. My name is Solomon Yemidi. I will be taking you in this course for this semester. This is the outline of the course. So basically this course is about introduction to microeconomics. So we'll start by looking at the definition of economics, issues of scarcity, which is at the heart of the study of economics, choice and opportunity cost, micro and macroeconomics, then tools for economic analysis. So this is just the introduction to the course. Then it says, because of the issue of scarcity, see, as a human society, we have numerous needs and wants, but the resources we need to satisfy these numerous wants, the resources are limited. So the issue is, how do we then manage these scarce resources in relation to our numerous needs and wants? So in an attempt to answer this question, society has come up with different systems that they think can be adopted in order to manage these scarce resources in relation to our numerous ones. And that takes us to the concept of capitalism, socialism, and mixed economy. So that is the issue we'll look at in the chapter 2 of the course. Now, if you study the economic system, you realize that socialism is very beautiful on paper, but when it comes to its application in human society, if you take human attributes into account, you realize that they are inconsistent with the concept of socialism, because human beings by nature, we are lazy, and you can only distribute what you produce. So socialism doesn't give people that incentive to work hard, to exploit their natural abilities and ambitions in life, which is the true nature of human beings. People want to set high ambitions. People want to deploy their natural given talents in order to achieve great things for themselves. And you can see that those attributes sit very well with capitalism. So the world in which we live today is predominantly capitalism. So the capitalism determines everything. Now, capitalism is based on the use of the market in allocating resources. And for every transaction to take place, we have two parties, a buyer and a seller. So the market is made up of buyers and sellers, or producers or sellers, and consumers or buyers. And so for us to understand how this capitalist system works, we need to understand the behavior of these market participants, the buyers and the sellers. And this will take us to the concept of the theory of demand, as well as the theory of supply. So we'll look at the theory of demand to understand how consumers behave when they go to the market. Then we'll also look at supply, which tries to explain how producers or sellers behave when they go to the market. Then for us to understand this market, how prices are determined, and how these determined prices in turn allocate scarce economic resources, which is the capitalist system, we need to look at how prices are determined. So we are going to combine the behavior of consumers and producers to determine prices. So we'll look at the price mechanism, how the interaction between consumers and producers help in determining prices. Now, you know that in every market, prices of goods don't remain the same forever. They change over time. So we'll look at what is behind the changes we see in prices of goods. anytime we go to the market. So we'll look at that under comparative statistics. Now, even though the market system is an efficient way of organizing economic activity by way of allocating scarce resources, both inputs and outputs, we realize that sometimes this market system fails to do this allocative function properly, and that takes us to the concept of market failure. So we'll look at market failure, and when there is a market failure, the government would like to intervene in order to correct it. So the government may want to use price control, or which is a direct way of interfering with the market, or the government would like to use an indirect approach, which is by imposing taxes and subsidies. So that is at the core of the course. From the beginning all the way to chapter 5 is the crux of this course, because you need to understand markets, and for you this is the basic thing you need to understand in this course. If you are not going to study economics beyond this level, that is the real issues you need to understand, how markets work. Basically, that is what you need. Now, the theory of consumer behavior simply tells us why is that the demand curve behave in a certain way. Why is that consumers, there is a certain kind of relationship between price of a commodity and the quantity of goods consumers want to buy. When the price changes, consumers behave in a certain way. Why is that relationship between price and quantity demanded? The theory of consumer behavior will try to explain that one, because see, we need to have a deeper understanding behind the demand or the behavior of consumers as well as the behavior of producers. So this theory of consumer behavior tries to explain why the demand curve is inversely related. Why the demand curve is downward sloping, meaning the price is inversely related to the quantity demanded of a commodity. And we use generally the two approaches used in doing that analysis is the cardinalist school of thought and the ordinary school of thought. Then the next thing we want to understand is why is that the supply curve is upward sloping. Why is it that the higher the price, the higher the quantity producers want to produce and offer for sale? Why is it that the higher the price, the higher the quantity supplied? We want to understand that behavior of producers. So we want to have that deep understanding. So for us to do that understanding, then we need to look at the concept of production. So all that we are going to do for the rest of the course is just to understand why the higher the price, the higher the quantity supplied. If you are in business, when the price of the commodity goes up, you want to produce and sell more. Why is it so? So for us to understand that, we need to study certain topics, and the first one in that line is the theory of production. How do businesses organize production? So in this case, we will just look at the simplest model, which is the short run production. So from the production, we look at the cost, because for you to produce any commodity, you need to buy inputs in order to do that. So as you produce, you incur cost. So we look at how the quantity of output you produce relates to the cost of production. Then the last topic we may consider when there is time is market structures, because for us to understand the relation between price and quantity supplied, we need to understand the market in which the firm is operating. There are different markets, because it is from the market that the firm is going to make its revenue. So you incur cost, then it's in the market that you are going to make revenue, and based on the revenue, and if you compare the revenue to the cost, then that will determine how you behave as a producer. So we are going to look at perfectly competitive markets and monopoly markets. These are the two extremes when we talk about markets. So market is any arrangement that brings buyers and sellers of a product together. That is basically what a market is. So we have perfectly competitive markets and monopoly market. These are the extremes. Perfectly competitive market is a market in which there are many buyers and there are many sellers. But the monopoly market is a situation where there is only a single seller of a product which has no close substitutes. There are many buyers, but there is only one seller of the product. So how prices and outputs are determined differs from each market. How firms produce and sell, the price at which they sell, the output, the quantity of the output they produce is different when we are in a perfectly competitive market. When we get to monopoly market, the incentive to act is different. So if there is time, we may look at some of these issues. So basically, this is the nature of the course. So this course is general introduction to microeconomics, which gives us an idea as to how how scarce resources are allocated in an economy. Basically, that is through the market. Because looking at your course, you may be going to the market and be buying inputs. You may be producing outputs and you need to go and sell them. You need to understand how these markets work. Why is it that anytime you go to buy an input, the price changes? What is causing these situations to happen? You produce an output. Let's say you are in a real estate business. You produce houses in order to sell. Today, the market is good. Tomorrow, the market is bad. Why is it that those changes are taking place? And what is behind it? You need to have a deeper understanding of all those. So basically, this is what the course is about. Now, in order to make this course easier for students, especially the weekend students, I've developed a recorded version of everything I'm going to teach in this course. So what we are going to do is that we will not be coming to class every day and have to be teaching everything from A to Z physically, because everything I'm going to teach in class has already been pre-recorded from topic 1 to the last topic. So what I will be doing is that I'll be sharing these lecture videos together with the lecture slides with you, and you have to go and read and watch all these videos, because whatever is in that video is the same thing I will be teaching if I were to meet you physically. So most of our times is going to be more of a review. You are supposed to watch the videos, read the lecture slides, so that when I come to class and you are not conversant with any aspect of what you have read and watched, then you can ask questions. Then I can explain those concepts to you. So I'm not going to be teaching you A to Z physically on all these topics, because all that I need to do has been recorded. And the advantage about the recorded video is that you can save them, and each time you want to refresh your memory, you can watch them again and again, and it helps you better than me coming to teach you one time, and you will not have the opportunity to listen to me again on those topics. So please, you have to make good use of the recorded videos. What I'll be doing is that I'll be uploading all the materials for this course on the LMS for this particular course, so you can get every information from that place. What I'll be doing right from the beginning is that the introductory topic, which is chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3, will be uploaded today. and you'll be required to go and watch the videos from the beginning to the end for all those 3 topics, and read the slides as well. What I intend doing is that every topic is going to be accompanied by some multiple choice questions. Those questions are supposed to test your understanding of what you have learned from those videos. So what I'll be doing is that as I give you the videos, I'll give you those multiple choice questions so that you have to watch the videos and try to understand the concepts. Then you can then go and solve the multiple choice question. Your ability to solve the multiple choice questions will show your ability to what, and your understanding of the content in those videos. So that is what I'm going to do. Please, this course is to help you understand concepts. If you want to understand a concept and you want to use one of these AIs, you are free to do. But when I give you a problem so that you test your own understanding, don't go and use any AI because if it comes to exam, AI will not be there to help you. But if you want to understand concepts, go and consult the AI. You can go and consult the AI to give you maybe a different understanding or a better understanding of the concept. But if when I give you a problem, don't go and consult the AI to give you the answers, because if you do that, you are not helping yourself. So basically that is what I'll say for now. So see you later. Bye bye.